welcome back, and we've returned to another episode of Metal Gear Resurrections after painful taking of trying to figure out computer technology and whatnot. Me and my brother have returned for the music of Metal Gear Part 5. I'm joined by my brother Jonathan.
Hello.
We are here, we've returned, and yeah, we're gonna get started. This primarily is gonna cover Ground Zeroes and parts of 5. We'll see how far we get, and we'll take it from there. So to get us rocking and get us going, we're gonna take a listen to what is not the theme song of Ground Zeroes, but what you always hear during the trailers and how Big Boss is introduced, and it's the commencing mission song when he's rock climbing up the, I want to say not mountain but up the cliff, going to Omega camp in Cuba. A little slice of American communist soil. So let's take a listen. Alright, so I guess the music is supposed to get you pumped up and get ready to get going for your mission.
Yeah.
Listening to Kaz, I think it's only just Kaz.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Ocelot's not back yet. So we're still with Kaz. This game takes a couple months after Peace Walker. So it's a direct sequel, jumping right in. Let's go.
Okay.
And, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because you said Revolver is not yet there with them. When, because, of course, I watched the video for Ground Zero and Phantom Pain, but I guess there is sort of a gap in time for me in that, when does Revolver basically join the Diamond Dogs? When does...
Oh, it's right after you escape the hospital in Phantom Pain.
Okay, so... Alright.
Yeah, he literally comes to you on horse.
Okay, so this is... Alright. So that's 9 years into the future.
Yeah.
So currently he's not...
He's probably working behind the scenes.
Okay.
I don't know what he's doing particularly.
Yeah.
My best guess is that he's probably either trying to not be known what his role and intention is to what he was doing. Probably when it came to you have these two characters Big Boss and Cypher / Zero.
Yeah.
And you kind of want don't want to be in anybody's radar, so you want to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And just do what you got to do.
I was just realizing it's kind of hard to keep track of all these people's whereabouts because they're spies and you're not supposed to know. The only reason you know about, because we're following the story of Big Boss. But essentially, it's the same thing with James Bond. He's supposed to be a secret agent, but everybody knows him. But it's just out of the popularity of the films, that's what happens. Yeah. But in storyline wise, he's a secret agent.
Yeah, so he's supposed to be no one knows what his name's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I've seen films where it's what's your name, sir? And then the tagline, Bond, James Bond. And I'm I don't think that's the name you should be giving out. Because then sometimes it actually does come to bite his ass.
Yes.
And some of the films, right off the top of my head, Tomorrow Never Dies. I think he was supposed to have, a cover name. Yeah. And then the guy was no, you're James Bond. Yeah. And then I was thinking to myself, oh shit, if people, because you know what? Like everyone else, there's talkers. People talk. Yeah. there's gossipers, and I feel like supervillains are the biggest fucking gossipers out there.
Absolutely.
They'll get together and talk about, like, who's their nemesis and who's their, like, flavor of the month. Mm-hmm. Good guy they want to, like, take out. And I feel like for that world, it's like, hey, you know that asshole James Bond who sometimes gives his name and sometimes doesn't? Well, this is what he does and this is what he's going to do. He's going to come and kill you, so you better watch out.
Yeah.
For, like, this world, it's, exactly. It's, like, it's more grounded.
Yes.
Not to play a pun with Ground Zeroes. Yeah. But, you don't know what all these people are doing. Yeah. They're anywhere in the world. Yeah. They're, from what I'm thinking, if Peace Walker was, like, in the 70s.
Yes.
Ocelot might be in Russia still.
Could be.
Probably still working with his cover.
Yeah.
Because that's probably why we get, like, more of him in The Phantom Pain, because going into Afghanistan, and I feel like he actually said before in previous games, in the first Metal Gear Solid 1, I don't know if it's 1 or Twin Snakes, that he had time with the Russian military.
That's correct,
in Afghanistan.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure.
During their invasion.
Yeah.
What I mean to say.
Yeah.
So, it would make sense that we need to bring him back because he needs to be geographically in this area. Yeah. Because he's going to be Shalashaska soon.
Yes.
And for Ground Zeroes, it's like, I feel like I'm getting to, like, that, remember, like, in Bad Boys 2? Yes. Where they're like, oh, we're going to go invade Russia. Not Russia, I'm sorry. We're going to go in Cuba. Yes. Because I forgot whose character. Martin Lawrence's character. His sister.
Was Gabriel taken. Union, yes.
And we gotta go into fucking Cuba. Are you with me? And they're like, fuck yeah, ride or die. Yeah. We're in this shit together.
All of Miami PD and the U.S. military.
Yeah, I'm like, that would never fucking happen. They're like, yeah, Miami police gonna, like, they got the money for that? I mean, they probably do, because it's Miami and, cocaine runs the world over there. But for Ground Zeroes, you're not dropped in, you're climbing in. Yes. To start your mission. Yeah. And it's almost like he's not told to, like, hold back or anything like that. No. It's like, because they do mention that the people on site are U.S. soldiers, I believe, right? Yes. Probably a sprinkle in that XOF that we see through this game and throughout the next game. But it's like, I keep saying like, Big Boss is told, you don't have to hold back. These boys have seen action. Give them hell. Mm-hmm. And this is also the game that we're introduced to our ears, Kiefer Sutherland. Yes. Which, I've said many times to other people, and I said during the first time we tried doing this, it didn't hurt me. No. What I think everybody wants to know is why the change. Yeah. We understand that now after all the games have released, after everything's been done, Konami and Kojima have parted ways. The stories are starting to come out now, right? Yeah. And we hear, going all the way back to Metal Gear Solid 3, that Kojima was interested in Kurt Russell. That's kind of like his, I want to get in with actors, I want to, like, rub elbows with Hollywood. Yeah. And I think that's where he's like, I'm going to, like, test the waters and see what I can get away with. Yeah. See if I can try to grab this person. Which, that would have been pretty cool. Yes. I think it'd be too much, though. Yeah. Because you really, it's like it's not even more an homage anymore. It's... You're having Snake play Snake. And yeah. It would be interesting to hear and think about in concept. But, yeah. Yeah, go ahead. No, I just... I don't know. I think it would have been too distracting. You're just having this character, it almost like you might risk having the story being lost because you're having this big name actor playing a character that's an homage to a previous character he's done. I think it would have been too distracting. It would be interesting, but I think it would have been too distracting. Yeah, because we probably would want to hear like Snake Plissken lines. Yeah. Or it just, you would maybe
even having Snake Plissken lines in this would feel forced because just because. But yeah, as we tried talking about this previously, I like Keith. It took me a minute to get used to, but I do like his voice, especially for the character. It sort of translates that because he has that that voice and he's always had that and I said like before, like even in Lost Boys when he was just a kid, he always had that voice of like experience, like he's seen stuff even at a young age, and it's just probably because of genetics, because his father has like a deep voice as well. But yeah, I like Kiefer in the role, as Big Boss, and it was a little weird because David Hayter is no longer in the lead, but at the same time, I wondered because yes, Kojima wanted to really go a mix of cinema with video games. He's always been wanting to do that and make these big story arcs as cinematic as possible. So you're adding a top talent, but I also wondered if it had to do with sort of going away of the similarities between Big Boss and Solid Snake. Like I wondered if it was a choice to try and make Big Boss not completely different, but just enough where he is his own character. There's no confusion between the two. Because now he has a different voice, and in Phantom Pain he gets different through surgeries, he gets different facial features. So I wonder if that was an intentional choice creatively by Kojima to make the two characters different.
Possibly.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know what it is? If any answer would help.
Yeah.
It could be like even the smallest answer. Like he could probably just say, he just wanted to test his boundaries.
Yeah.
As a director, put someone else in that driver's seat and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Versus having like your series regular.
Yeah.
Because I've said it before with you on a separate recording that if he was thinking about changing voice actors, like kind of like make this his like Bond series.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, David should really only voice Solid Snake. So for just those games. And then for Big Boss, I want someone else entirely.
Okay.
That would have been what now would have made people upset about.
And you can inform me and inform anybody who doesn't know, but did Kojima have plans after 5?
From what I've read, it seems like almost every game was like, all right, this is it. This is my last game.
Okay.
This is it, people.
Okay.
And then when we got to 5, as he was working on it, I think maybe he kind of like fell in love with the series again.
Okay.
Because I think there's like stories going around that he did want to continue.
Yes.
I don't know what it would look like. Maybe maybe we would have gotten a remake of Metal Gear 1.
Maybe.
With today's like graphics and everything
maybe.
like that, or maybe it would have been a different story entirely. But I think what happened was like you have somebody who's like really creative,
yes, and
they want to keep pushing the boundaries, and when you keep pushing the boundaries, that means more money has to be spent.
Okay, so that's in essence what happened between the sort of parting of ways with Konami and Kojima.
Exactly. I think they were just like, we're spending too much money, and they probably were afraid we're not going to get what we need in return for our investment. Okay. And maybe he just overstepped his bound one too many. And they were just like, all right, now we need to part ways because if this is how it's going to be going on from this point, then maybe this relationship is not going to work. And you know what? That's okay, because if that didn't happen, no Death Stranding.
True.
And I've only played a little bit of it. I want to say like 4 hours so far, and only completed like 2 missions.
Yeah.
It's way different from Metal Gear Solid, but you have elements from that game itself, like kind of like the sneaking around. When it comes to like they call them BTs. I'm not up to the point where as to why they're called that. I'm still at the beginning of the game. And when I was like sneaking around, I was like, oh, it's like I'm sneaking around like Solid Snake, but I'm Sam. Sam Porter Bridges, so I'm like, I'm Solid Sam. Just sneaking around. And it's like, it's very eerie and it's even more creepy. It's like if you took like the essence of Metal Gear Solid, that eerie creepiness, and put it into a game of today's technology and today's graphics, and you get like a really nice visual kind of like landscape of like what should be like action and horror and sci-fi mixed together. That's what I'm getting right now.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help that I'm getting that vibe because Guillermo del Toro is in the game.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, I'm gonna get some kind of weird shit from like this happening. It's like I know what he likes to bring, so I'm like, you get those kind of like those vibes in that game. Like I know this is a Kojima game, but then when you get all these people coming in, because I know there's like I think there's another director in the game as well. I haven't gotten up to that part yet, and it's like when you bring these people in, you kind of like feel like that vibe they bring in.
Yeah, they add to it.
There, from their world.
Yes.
Coming into your world. So, I mean, I'm always late. I'm always late to the party, so now I'm playing Death Stranding after it's been out for like a couple of years now. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. I'll probably like cover that game like sometime down the road after I'm done covering all of Metal Gear. But yeah, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have gotten like another franchise from him.
Yeah.
It's like you also don't want to be bogged down.
No.
And be known as like for this one thing.
Yes.
It's like I think he wanted to like spread out and see what he can do. What else can he do?
Yeah.
Because there was like he was trying to do like what he did for Metal Gear Solid for Silent Hill. That's why they have the whole PT.
Yes.
And that's another thing I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on because you can't download it. It was a teaser for Silent Hill, and you can't, even if you have a PS4, you can't download it. It's taken off the store, which I can kind of understand why. Probably because it's not like, oh, this guy doesn't work for us thing anymore. I think it's more of a licensing thing. And you have like not very long before when I've read and listened to, we see Norman Reedus.
Yes.
So maybe you can't have that out there because if it's out there for X amount of years, maybe you have to pay somebody.
Yes.
For likeness.
Yeah.
And probably for crediting.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole like guidelines or how contracts are broken down.
Yeah.
In that world, but that's what I imagine. There's music. There's probably like actors and voice actors and people who are actually in the game that you don't want to continue paying for a game that never came to be.
That's true.
So it's understandable. It sucks. It's probably like another reason why people want physical media versus like digital media, because if it's physical, you can always keep it. You can always like store it somewhere. Even though eventually it will break down on its own, you'll still have a little more time with it. Versus digital, which they can just like snatch it right out of the air. Like what happened with Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, the HD collection.
Yes.
They said due to historical licensing footage, probably numerous other things involving music and who knows what else.
Yeah.
That they had to like pull it down, and then they announced on the 35th anniversary that Konami announced that they're going to be working on it. No timeline was given, and no details as how far or what exactly they're giving back.
Okay.
But I imagine it's 2 and 3. So I mean that's really like everybody always says to people who are listening that if you're very interested in these games, you would stick to physical.
Yeah.
Media versus digital, if you can. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. Can't really afford it.
No.
Sometimes you cut a break with digital because it might be a digital sale versus a physical sale. That's another story for another day. Back to Ground Zeroes. So I'm kind of like breaking it up, where it's like we're not reintroduced, but like shown Big Boss in the new engine of like what would be like current gen to next gen.
Yes.
So from like 360 to 1 and PS3 to PS4.
Yes.
And we're shown the Fox engine, which I think it was this game, and then maybe like a couple of soccer games that Konami we're using it for, but that was it.
Yeah.
The engine lived and died here.
Okay.
Which out of all the games for the series, this is like the most fluid. Like the character when you play as would be. It's like jumping into action, going hand to hand, and then quickly arming yourself with whatever weapon Big Boss would have. It was quick and easy. It almost made it like not like the game was like too easy to play.
Yeah.
But it helped you because you were going to see like so much conflict come against you.
Yeah.
It's like not only you had to worry about soldiers, but you had to worry about tanks. You had to worry about helicopters. You had to worry about soldiers in vehicles. Because you could be playing this game and then out of nowhere, if a soldier sees a glimpse of you from a vehicle, they'll just stop the vehicle and then they'll jump out and search the area. Same thing with like a tank. Like you can't really outgun a tank. No. So it also this game also gets you to strategize on what you were gonna do, and it pretty much made it feel like this is how all those other games should have been in a way.
Yeah.
If I'm making any sense.
Yeah. I just so is the game engine for Ground Zero the same for Phantom Pain, or is it different?
No, it's the same.
Oh, it's the same. Okay.
It's the same one.
I was about to say.
I think what happened was that they were probably going to do is they were going to release the game all as one package.
Yeah.
Sort of like Metal Gear Solid 2. You had the tanker mission, and then the plant mission. So you had a break of same game, two different stories.
Yeah.
I think they were going to do that, and I think probably Konami was like, we can't do that again. First of all, this is too expensive. We need some kind of return. And releasing Ground Zeroes, I think it was $40. A lot of people were like, oh, what the fuck? Why am I spending $40 on a game that I can beat in 2 hours? That's ridiculous. But mind you, they still paid.
Yeah, Konami was, at the end of the day, it's about making money. But I'd say this is Ground Zero, Phantom Pain. I think this is it's as close as what Kojima wanted in execution of having a cinematic game, or having a game so close to feeling like a film, and almost even lifelike with how some of the characters look. Like the opening, obviously Big Boss is he still has the features of Solid Snake, but now it's a little more detailed, a little more weathered. And then you have some characters that are based on real performers, and you get to see them. So I think, and there are some scenes in Phantom Pain, when just for an example, when Big Boss is in Africa and he meets the children soldiers. Yeah. That's very looking at the features of the children. It's very lifelike. It does feel like, I think it's an accomplishment for Kojima that he actually got to see this, what he wanted to be realized. This story becoming, as close to the movie as you can get, and as real as it looks. I thought the graphics were great, and I do think money numbers say one thing, and critics could say another thing, but I do think he did accomplish what he set out. You can have your opinion on it, but he did do what he wanted. That's what I guess I'm trying to get at. Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's perfect. What you made was a perfect point. Yeah. I was trying to trying to get it out. Yeah. Trying to say what you just said. Mm-hmm. He accomplished what he set out, because every game from before he had this image. Everyone else, you always have this image of what it should be, and sometimes it just falls short. Yeah. On how limited technology, but it finally caught up with this game, because for this game there was no break at all unless you hit pause. Not the iDroid pause, because that will get you killed still. But, pause the actual game, because for Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, when you would see, the cinematic cutscene, that was part of the engine as well, of, in-game, and it would just go, straight right into the game. So there was, no, back in the day, pause. Yes. Let's see the cutscene. Yeah. And then, alright, back to the game, and you could definitely see there's a difference. Yeah.
And for this game, it's just like seamless going in and out. To a point where when I was playing this game at home on like both my TVs are for 4K. When I would play it on the big screens, and Mary Jane would like come around and see like what I was like doing, and she would think I was watching a movie at first.
Yeah.
Up until like the character starts like moving from like my motion controls. She's like, oh yeah. Wow. She's like, oh, I thought you were watching a movie for a second there. And I was like, that's what this person set out to accomplish. Like, they want you to get fully immersed into these stories, fully immersed into these characters that it's not just, it's more than just a video game.
Yeah.
It's a movie that you can play.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And for this one, for Ground Zeroes, we're going in. We're going in to save Paz and Chico.
Yep.
Which at first I thought, are we really here to save them? Because going into like when you play any of these games, you kind of go into like the mindset of the character you're playing as. So
yes.
Going into Big Boss's mind, I can see him not hesitating killing anyone, even a teenager.
Yeah, that's the thing about the character that you see throughout these games, and that he kind of has to be. He can't have. I mean, he can't be. He's not cold, but he can't. His loyalty can't be to people. Even if it doesn't matter how his feelings towards them. He's like his duties to his country and to his team. That's it. And if he sees anyone as a threat, and if that just happens to be someone he's worked with or someone he has a connection with, he seems ready to make the decision to have to kill them.
Oh yeah, no hesitation. Yeah. That's basically like the world he lives in.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not loyal to him, that's it. You're done.
I will say though, because I just brought it up, but and I know we're talking Ground Zero right now, but he does sort of have like a cheat in Phantom Pain when he goes to Africa in regards to the children's soldiers. He has a decision to make, and he sort of finds a way to sort of cheat that decision, in that I guess everyone goes away happy.
Yeah. I would say like, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, did you finally complete all of Phantom Pain?
Yes.
Okay, so then there's a reason for that. It's kind of like showing you the two parallels.
Yeah.
So for Ground Zeroes, we are playing John.
Yes.
It's like, spoiler alert, this game's been around for 8 years now.
Yeah.
Same thing with Phantom Pain. Phantom Pain's been around for 7 years, so if you haven't gone to play it, don't listen to what I'm going to say next, because then you're going to be like, oh, fuck. Like, what's the point of playing it now?
Yeah.
But that's the comparison, and, like, trying to show you, like, the differences between the two characters.
Yeah.
Yes, they are both Big Boss.
Yeah.
In their own ways.
Yeah.
Ground Zeroes, we are playing the true Big Boss.
Yeah.
John, and then Phantom Pain, from what we were supposed to believe in the beginning, we're playing Big Boss during those times where there was that coma, and we're lead to like a mystery as to what happened.
So, because this is going to be a whole discussion, a theory about what happens to Big Boss, or what we were just talking about it. For me, it's the same person, even though they have different facial features. There's a change, obviously, but I think this happens to do with circumstances. But do you think that there's a change, like something happened in the explosion and in the complete destruction, where there was a personality shift?
That's what I think they wanted you to believe.
Okay. That
due to the destruction of Mother Base and due to the injuries sustained between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, really to believe that altered Big Boss into a different mindset. But from what we see in the actual game and with the story, it kind of like, it throws you for like a completely different loop. I mean, probably people saw it coming in the beginning. Yeah. People who were like, constantly scouring the internet during the time it was being released. But when you play the game and you get through Ground Zeroes, Big Boss is injured. He goes into a coma for 9 years, or we're to believe that he does. Because if you go to Phantom Pain and you listen to the cassette audio tapes, there's points where there are two different bosses talking.
That's right, yes.
There's John, Big Boss.
Yes.
And then there's Venom Snake.
Yes.
Big Boss. And in fact, I believe for Phantom Pain, when you get the true ending, the true ending is basically the beginning of Phantom Pain, where Venom Snake wakes up in the hospital bed. We see that twice, and probably people think like, oh, it's the same shit. Why am I reliving it again?
Yeah.
And it was pointed out. I don't know the top of my head whose YouTube video was.
Okay.
But during that true ending, when you wake up as Venom Snake and you finally see everything that happens, that like when he falls unconscious, it's more than just a day. It's like, I think, weeks.
Yeah.
And so forth. And when he first wakes up, the patient next to him, who I believe tells him to call him Ishmael.
Yes.
That is the true Big Boss.
Okay.
The true Big Boss probably did get injured.
Yeah.
But I don't believe the coma lasted as long as what happened to Venom Snake. I think what happened to Venom Snake, if for people who have not completed Phantom Pain, sorry about this, but Venom Snake was actually the medic in Ground Zeroes.
Okay.
And what happened was, during the attack at Mother Base, during the explosion, from leaving the destruction and Paz telling them she has another bomb.
Yes.
That explosion would have probably killed Big Boss if it wasn't for like the quick thinking of the medic to jump right in and throw himself between that explosion and Big Boss.
Okay.
So Big Boss probably did end up in coma, because I imagine smashing your head going, I don't know how fast, into like the metal interior of a helicopter probably did do something to John, where he probably, maybe he was in a coma for like a couple of months, because when you wake up as Venom Snake, you're just like flopping all around and just like you have no control of your motor skills, like because your muscles are atrophy, and you actually look emaciated from before. And Ishmael is just like super toned. Yeah, he can crouch down. He can do anything. So that tells me right there that Big Boss, he's been up, alert, and been keeping his body ready. Yeah. Ready for the point for Venom Snake to get going. Yeah. To become his double.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to rewatch, because that does make sense. And I will say, because just thinking about it, like, because you go from watching Big Boss and Ground Zero and how he, how physically he is, and his abilities, and then it does seem like he is kind of weaker in Phantom Pain. Yeah. Like, it does seem like there is because like he has a problem with like even like I forgot the children, the kid soldier, who,
the white one?
Yes.
Eli,
yes.
AKA Liquid Snake.
That was another thing I was wondering about.
Oh yeah, that was Eli is Liquid.
Okay.
Yeah. And it also makes sense, because like because I think he was actually told who he was. Okay. Like I think he was told, you are not a normal child. You're a product of science. Okay. It's like you're a clone of who is the greatest living soldier of the 20th century. Yeah. And from there, it's kind of like told. They probably told him like, you were just made to like, as an insurance policy, as like, if we ever lose a soldier, that you'll be able to like step right in after he grows up. So it's kind of like being told that like, you're just, all your worth is just being a machine for the government.
Your spare parts.
Yeah, pretty much. And that probably like what fueled his anger, and hence anger gets the best of Liquid always. Mm-hmm. And if he kept it in check, he may have been able to like pull off what he needed to get done. Yeah. But not as a child. It's almost kind of like, I know we're jumping back and forth between the two games, but this is pretty much like a whole of like 5. Yeah. It's kind of funny, because like when we see him, all he wants to do is like take you on. Yes. From as soon as he steps foot in Mother Base, he's just like attacking other soldiers, trying to get any kind of weapon to go against you. Yeah. And it's just like, kid, just give it up. Not right now. Wait. Yeah. Take your time and get bigger. Yeah. Get better. Yeah. And then strike. Yeah. But no, you just want to like just jump up and be like, all right, I'm gonna fuck shit up, and it's like, no, dude, you're gonna get fucked up in the process of all this.
Yeah, that is one thing that stays true throughout the entire Metal Gear series, and even because it parallels the Bond series. Everyone just wants to challenge who Snake is, or even in Escape films, they meet Snake Plissken, and they have these ideas about him.
Yeah.
What is it? They think he'd be taller.
It's either I thought you were taller or I thought you were dead.
Yes, and so it does. It's a running theme throughout these stories, and obviously throughout the Bond films. Every villain has these ideas about Bond, and here every villain or terrorist or sort of or anyone that labels themselves a freedom fighter, when they meet either Solid Snake or Big Boss, they have this idea, this legend about him, and they want to take him on. They want to see if he really is legit, or if that they can surpass him.
And here comes like kind of like that Western theme where it's like you're always like trying to find who's like, you hear stories about a gunslinger.
Yes.
And they're supposed to be like the best gunslinger wherever this side of the West or wherever, and it's like you want to. It's always that you always see those characters like, I'm gonna challenge you, and it's like it could be for X amount of reasons, but it's mainly because you're the man that they want to challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar to that. It's like you have like the lone hero, and everyone wants to try to see if they can topple.
Yeah.
And basically write their own legend.
Yeah.
If they can topple, get the best of the hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes, it's kind of like, probably people did see it coming. They go like, oh yeah, that's not Big Boss.
No.
But when we get to the end of Phantom Pain, we see that like all that medic sacrificed.
Yes.
And he's told that for all your sacrifice, like they basically took a person and made that person disappear.
Yeah.
Gave however the means they did, probably through drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, psychological treatments and techniques. It was something that Zero was toying around because between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, they canceled the Lessa Fonterri project.
Yes.
The cloning project. They canceled it. They're like, we're not doing that anymore. And I think that's when Zero decided, all right, if I can't make a copy that can go right now or within a suitable amount of time, how about a mental copy? Because that could probably would just cost just as much in having to find the right people, the right candidate.
Yeah.
And in fact, he kind of like the right candidate falls into his lap. Someone who's like disfigured because they have shrapnel in their head.
Yeah.
So they probably assume that the head trauma would probably make the person possibly amnesiac.
Yeah.
So they probably thought clean slate.
Yes.
Let's take this person. It's almost like RoboCop.
It is.
Where it's like, we have this body, we can do whatever we want with it.
It is. It's a pretty scary idea. That they have like this essentially human drone, and they can put upon, because the memory of who he once was is gone.
Yeah.
It's complete empty slate, and so they could put upon him an idea of who he was, who he is, and what he can do, and then he can execute it, or they could find a way for him, basically so that their story seems factual, like you are actually Big Boss, even though it's a cover up. It's pretty scary, and it makes sense that, and it goes along with a lot of like the scary elements within. I guess in like even in Ground Zero has that a little bit, and in Phantom Pain more so obviously. But yeah, scary idea.
And to kind of like bring it back to like Ground Zeroes, I would say like let's listen to the song that kind of like introduces who would be like the villain between the two games that carry on. So it's kind of like we're given. It's not like really a theme song because I think the music does start when he gives Chico the tape.
Yes.
Am I right? Because
yes.
the tape is... I think we're to believe that he's listening to the actual what's supposed to be on that tape, and then the audience is listening to like a thematic music
yes.
to go along with like where we're panning off to, like where we're going to see these people move along.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen to Here's to You. Alright, and we're back. So that was Here's to You, and with Joan Baez and Ennio Morricone.
Yes.
I try to pronounce it as best as I can. If anybody has better pronunciation as to his name, please definitely tell me, and this way I can like correct myself later on. I know Joan Baez.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of her songs. What kind of like was like back in the day, like kind of like, you know, teaming up for like, because now we have like all these like, collaborations. We have like all these people like working together. It's like, I think even for that, it's like, well, that's a little bit turned, because I only know him from like movies, like,
yes.
musical scores.
Yeah.
So it threw me off the loop in a good way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is what you can do with someone with vocals.
Yeah.
And it's like back to like the kind of like Western motif where it's like we see the main bad guy.
Yes.
The main bad, Skullface, which
yes.
I think for Ground Zeroes, we don't know him as Skullface. He's probably known by a different name altogether. I think he's known just as Agent, unless they actually do say Skullface.
I'm trying to remember if Kaz mentions him, not necessarily by the code name.
Yeah.
But he gives him some sort of reference, some sort of title. I don't remember.
I think that's where the title Agent comes in.
Yes.
Like, they don't know, like we never know his name throughout these two games. We don't know his name. We get bits and pieces of like background of his life.
Yes.
Before the incident that happened that made him look like what he is.
Yeah, and is he? It only comes from him, right? Nobody knows his. Like he mentions, or he talks about his disfigurement.
Yeah.
But nobody else has any. I don't.
No,
nobody
nobody knows how he came to be that way.
Okay.
And I think it comes to a point where even he says in Phantom Pain that he doesn't know, like he's forgetting his old life, what before all this.
Okay. And that's kind of a good foil and parallel between the protagonist and antagonist. They both have sort of been, their history is sort of a blur to them.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting to have these two characters against one another. It could be the same. They're almost like the same guy, but obviously with different agendas. But yeah, and in Ground Zero, you never see. This is his intro. You never see his face, right?
For Skullface?
Yeah.
You do see it. You do see it, but you see it like with the mask.
Okay.
Like in this game, you kind of see a side profile.
That's what I mean. Yeah, in Ground Zero, you don't, because I'm trying to remember. I don't think they actually reveal his face. Do they?
You don't see the full face. Like you don't see the whole picture yet. You see a side profile, and it's very like even he keeps it like very limited view of his face. And then as soon as he finished talking to like his XOF soldiers, he immediately puts the hat on to even more like just kind of like disguise and cover himself.
Yeah.
And for him, it's like we see this character, and going into like the Phantom Pain, we get like more of like who he was within the organization, within Zero's organization. And in fact, he was the man that was in charge of the cleanup crew. After Big Boss would finish out his mission, he would go in and clean up after.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like his character kind of figures for like in the Phantom Pain, gets to like the ideas about Volcor parasites, seeing like the parasites of the Cobra unit, and like kind of like almost like the abilities that they were given from it. And it's he had his own revenge. Like it was like it's another story of like two people butting heads once again. It was Skullface and Zero.
Yes.
I believe Skullface had like ideas and agendas that just didn't match up or mesh well with Zero.
No.
And then Zero would be like, this is his operation, this is his organization. It's like, you listen to me and forget about whatever else you were trying to do. And that's probably what pissed Skullface off like big time in regards to that, and hence his you can say his betrayal against Zero, and kind of like his coup to usurp King and become King himself and take over and do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, it is funny just like hearing you talk about it, because and just watching it, but like hearing you talk about it about Skullface trying to overtake Zero, or just like a disagreement with two military minds. It's funny. It parallels kind of like, or it's just funny that I mean, who knows at the time if it was happening, but Kojima having his sort of creative differences with Konami, and I don't know if that was a thing happening when he was making the game, but it's just funny that that's happening relatively around the same time he's making the Metal Gear games, and you have like these characters in a game that are having basically creative differences, and it's nothing new. Happens to all artists and companies that they work for. It's also funny, like it's almost like it always seems like the bad guy is an ex-employee, or it's almost like essentially for like most of the Iron Man movies, the villain is an ex-employee or somehow related to Tony Stark.
Yeah, exactly. Like for Iron Man, it actually is like it's either ex-employees or like relatives of ex-employees. Yeah. Similar to like this, if they're all like one family, I think Zero would be the father. Yeah, that's true. And then the boss would be the mother, and then all these other would be like brothers and sisters of the family, and it's pretty much like that. It's like this dispute within this family, but this is the family. This is the type of family that kill each other rather than talk about it.
Yeah, that's true.
And for Skullface, it's just like out of all the villains, it seems like he truly not only enjoys what he does, but thrives on it. Like it's what fuels him.
I have to say, I think he's probably the most like with his plan. Like I think he has like the most thought out plan out of all the villains. Like thinking like even with like Revolver / Liquid in 2 and even Liquid in 1, like their plan is not very solid.
No, it's kind of like they're planning as they're going.
Yes.
And Skullface is just like, I have all all this laid out.
Yes.
And we're just going through the steps.
Yes.
To basically on how my plan is running.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's where like kind of like goes like where Skullface I feel like more strategic.
Yes.
And then Zero is kind of both. He can be strategic and he can use means of action.
Okay.
And Big Boss is more of heavy on means of action using like, men, weaponry versus strategy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like you're kind of like you have to like go through like the learning curve. And this is all like Big Boss and everything he's going to learn to go through from like, where he began in Metal Gear Solid 3 and all these games in between like Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain, they're all just learning curves to what we were supposed to get in Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2.
Okay.
Where now he's a leader. He has his own army, his own military, his own infrastructure, and he lays out his plans as the best of his ability that the men under him can carry it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're seeing him grow.
Yeah.
From like as a soldier in the beginning, and as a soldier who has no experience in like tracking, no experiences using camouflage, and then going through this series where he's learning and mastering how to like infiltrate Solo with men, going back to Solo, and then creating and amassing an army with the Phantom Pain, and going into like Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 where he is a nation, he's a rogue nation leader. So it's like we kind of see like that he's learned from all these people he's come across, all the villains that we play and have to battle, and it's just like showing like the maturity his character grows from. I would say like Metal Gear Solid 3, he is relatively a young man, and then going to like further into like becoming an older man, and using the knowledge he's amassed to basically carry out his plans. So I was gonna say like for like kind of like this with Skullface, there's no moral compass.
No.
He'll do whatever that needs to be done in order his men to do the job, and hence like involving like Paz and Chico, and it's just like it's absolutely heartbreaking what happened to those two characters.
Yeah.
For what we see, like like the materials of like from the artwork and stuff like that, Chico was supposed to have life after Ground Zeroes. Like his character would continue, and that from what we all see and from what we all read about that sounds like a really terrifying concept of a character.
I almost because I do know that it's never really said that he if anything, it's not even it's kind of up in the air. It's not even implied that he passed. It's not even kind of like mentioned. Maybe it's assumed. But yeah, a part of me is like he didn't die. Like what Kojima's plans for him, I do like as a character arc for his story, for that story. So I like to believe that he didn't die. That Kojima's plans or what would happen for the character. But Skullface, no moral compass, but I think it also works for that he's an effective villain, and to his credit and to Kojima's credit, he's almost a blank slate. He has no connection with the previous villains. It's a sense of personal, and it's personal for Skullface as well. But it's not. It's more personal for like military and for his political beliefs. And with the other villains, it's personal in that they have vendetta against another person. And Skullface is more. He has like a vendetta against American ideas or whatever ideas that he has against Zero. So yeah, he does. It's effective in that it feels more cold, and it's disturbing what happens between Paz and Chico. But it also, it adds up to the complete story from Ground Zero to Phantom Pain. It just gets, darker.
Yeah, I would say for Skullface, he goes into like this not frenzy, but like this rage for what's happened to him. Yeah. So by eliminating any possibility of what happened to him to happening to anyone else, he's gonna do basically what was done, product of annihilation. Yeah. Like he's gonna completely destroy what his game plan was going to the Phantom Pain. Yes. Was using the vocal cord parasites was to basically eradicate the English language off the face of the earth.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Yes, because a good chunk of the world uses that language, but in doing that, using the vocal cord parasites, it's going to kill the people.
Yes.
That use it, and I can only imagine that if its grand scheme actually did come to fruition, that virus would just rapidly spread out everywhere wherever the English language was spoken, and then eventually mutate. Like if it did its job eradicating the English language, like any virus, it's going to want to continue to survive and not die out.
Yes.
So it would eventually mutate, and that mutation probably may have go into another language that has maybe the same phonetic of English or some variation that's similar, and then just keep going and keep cycling and mutating and attacking. But for Skullface, for this game, for Ground Zeroes, it goes into a really, really very dark and very personal. When I say personal, I mean for people who are victims of sexual violence and sexual assault, that if someone was playing this game and they've experienced something anywhere near, I don't want to say like not even to that point, but even to like the minimum being assaulted, like that would probably bring something back from your mind that you did not want to return or did not want to face. And for this game, if you do get the audio tape, I would encourage people to, if you want to listen to the whole story, go ahead. But by all means, you don't have to collect it. You don't have to listen to it. You can get the gist of the story of what happened to Paz, and you don't have to like listen to what happened to her. I mean, I know we're talking about fictional characters, but like these are fictional characters who have been put through like real trauma.
Yes.
And trauma is something that we can kind of like not empathize, but we know what trauma is and what that could bring of like for people who have like loved ones and they may have seen someone go through similar like that. For Paz, yes, we understand that she's a fictional character. This game is fictional and all that, but the idea of someone going through that is very horrifying.
Absolutely.
And scary. Just even like put that image in your head, like it makes me scared basically. And I would say for her character, it's very sad because when I play the game, it's just like I know what happened, and all I wanted to do as Big Boss was to like take these two characters and bring them home.
Absolutely, yeah.
To kind of like bring them back home, no matter what they did. Yes, Paz betrayed Big Boss. She tried to like use a Metal Gear against him because she was also working with Cypher. But I think it would have gotten to a point where like ourselves, the player, would project onto Big Boss and just say, even though you did what you did, you're coming back home. You're coming to our home, so you can rest, recuperate, and recover, and try to find some way to like use what happened to you to fight against these people. And unfortunately, that's not in the books for either of these characters.
No, and I do think you would think Big Boss, although would not hesitate to kill, he is forgiving or understanding at a sense that it's survival. Like you do what you have to do to survive. I was gonna say for Peace Walker, I would say like Chico was very like down. He was very down on himself, seeing that like he's just a boy. What can a boy do in this world of men? And what seemed like in his eyes never-ending war. And here comes Big Boss to kind of like bring him up and say, whatever happened in the past is over. From this day forward, you're a new person. What are you going to do with that life? And probably kind of like being told that from this what would become living legend, this man who would take this boy under his wing for basically turning him into a child soldier. But for him, it's a means of survival. Like I would survive longer with this man than alone. There is a I'm just bringing it up because it just crossed my mind, and that there is and I say this trying to be as sensitive as possible. There is a theme of a loss of innocence
Oh yeah.
With Chico and even Paz and a lot of the characters in even just in this game or just in Phantom Pain as well. But there is that sort of like loss of innocence. It's almost like, 'cause I was thinking about this. It's almost like the opposite of the Lost Boys or the opposite of Peter Pan, where Big Boss is a grown man leading children to become soldiers, to become men. It's the opposite of Peter Pan, where Peter's trying to take the kids so they can be kids forever and keep that innocence. It's sort of like the opposite for Big Boss in a way. But yeah, it's just with this obviously with the story arc with Paz and Chico, and just overall in the series you get this theme of the loss of innocence.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like that for what you made is like right on fucking point. Like it's like what you said, like it is definitely reverse of what Peter Pan was about.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole true lore.
No.
That's a whole different story on its own. But if we're gonna go by Disney,
just the main idea.
Yeah, the idea is that to keep the children's innocence, and for Big Boss, as all the children that he does recruit, their innocence has been gone for a long time, and for him, he's gonna like use that. It's like he's gonna use that. He's gonna like get these child soldiers and say, these are the reasons why you lost your innocence.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna give you the tools and the means. All you have to do is use that rage of losing what you lost against the people that took it from you.
But in a way, is Big Boss just creating more Skullfaces? Because isn't that exactly what happened to Skullface? I mean, we don't know all the details.
I think I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody out there that knows like the detailed story for Skullface, I think for Skullface, from what I'm getting from him, I think maybe it may have been involved with the Nazis. I don't know what happened. I believe something happened involved his injuries.
Yes.
And then possibly the Russian military, him coming across the Russian military after the war, and then so forth, where it's like you're kind of like you become a prisoner for one military. That military gets toppled down. Yeah. Then you take it from another military, and then they get toppled down. So it's like this whole non-stop passing, where he's being passed along as the time continues, and how enemies change through politics throughout the years. Yeah. I think that's where it happens, and then from that he comes across Major Zero, and then he uses him to basically do what I think was been done all his life. It's like after everything's said and done, after everything's been destroyed, you're gonna go in and clean everything. Nothing and nobody can remember who was here and what they were there for. And that's how I feel that he was being used. Yeah. And I feel like he was trying to like overreach and kind of like branch out to find like more efficient means of doing that without involving people on the ground constantly. Okay. And I think he overstepped his bound with Zero. Yeah. And was a little bit not wanting to follow his way. He's like, no, let's go my way. My way is more effective versus yours. Yeah. And then going back to two military people going against each other and everyone else around them becoming collateral damage. Yeah. That's how I feel. It's up for interpretation for however anyone else plays these games. Yeah. I could say one thing and then another person could say an entirely different experience for themselves. Yeah. And that's the beauty of these games. It's like it's not all one uniform picture. No. It's everyone can see these stories and then kind of like tell their experiences of what they believe these characters are, what they represent, what they're going through, and what they're going to be doing. Yeah. That's what I feel. For Skullface is just it's like with his crew, it's the opposite. It's like going in and cleaning out and collecting all the information, and in doing so, we see how he does it and what he does. Mm-hmm. And for Paz and Chico Chico, I'm pretty sure he was involving innocence. I would say I don't think he was ever sexual at all, being that he was a young child. No. A young teenage boy. And then with Skullface crossing his path, using that innocence as a weapon. Yeah. And Chico always wanted to be like a real soldier, always wanted to be like a man, and using that knowledge about him, using it against him, and knowing that Chico was in love with Paz. Yeah. Like crush turned to love. Yeah. and then using all that arsenal to basically simultaneously pit them against each other, and then seeing who would break and who would give him the information he needs.
Yeah.
And it's disturbing, it's disgusting, and I don't know if I should really go into detail like what happened. Like we all know what happened, you know.
No, we know what happened,
and I don't really feel comfortable talking like, oh, this happened to that happened. I would say, because you know what it is, when I first played these games, I was 14, and to see like this character Chico, it's almost like I'm seeing like a digital version of myself living out in the games. He's a teenage boy who's seeing all these like fantastical characters and people and surrounding him in this world, and just kind of like want to make his own way in that world. And then seeing like his world just be like crushed, destroyed by this one man on his own quest for vengeance. It's sad. It's sad for Chico. When I got this game, when I played it, it took me a while to kind of recover from that. Like seeing all that happen, not seeing, but because we get the tapes, listening to what happened, and then like seeing the ending of Ground Zero's destruction and how it all falls down. It's like I gotta like take a step back and take a breather, because that was way too intense to what I expected. It's you feel for these characters,
absolutely,
and you feel for I would say I feel for Chico. It's like what I thought was going to happen to Chico was that he was going to continue being under like Big Boss's wing, and I thought for some odd reason, because we don't get really much background into the characters of the original games like Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. I thought Chico was going to be the machine gun kid in Metal Gear.
Okay.
So I thought that was going to be his, like, kind of like we see his character trajectory. He going from Chico going all the way to like becoming one of Big Boss's like men. And unfortunately that didn't happen. I mean, either way, both characters die, but Chico, when we finally get to him in that cage, he's no longer Chico. He's a broken boy.
No, he's completely broken.
I think when we get to him, he loses the will to live. Like, I don't think he wants to live anymore.
Yeah, I think, I mean, just from when we see Chico, he does, I can't even, I don't really know what Skullface did to his legs, but he's not able to walk.
What happened was they put what looks like bolts into their Achilles heel, so they can't walk.
So is that technically hobbling? Is it hobbling them?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because they can't move around. They can't walk.
Yeah.
So that would be like hobbling a person without having to break limbs.
Yeah.
So you would do is damage muscle.
Yeah.
That could be repaired later on. Yeah, because he's in that cage and he's just like I think before you even like open the cage, I think he's just like swaying like back and forth, kind of like because from the trauma, just trying to kind of like soothe himself in any way possible.
No, yeah. Skullface completely takes everything from Chico, from Paz, even for Kaz. And I was going to say that we were talking about what drives Skullface is a rage. I think similarly, Kaz has a similar rage. Is intentional for the character, for as far as his arc and his story goes, in not just in this game, but for the character just overall in the series. Skullface completely his plan to just completely destroy Mother Base, anyone involved. He succeeds. He succeeds.
Yeah, I would say for Kaz, the rage would be that from his background, he is Japanese American. Mother was Japanese, and his father was American soldier. Father didn't stick around, so you got that rage of someone who's supposed to be there for you, your parent, is supposed to be there for you to kind of like teach you, to love you and nurture you, ups and leaves you because you weren't in the plans, and they didn't see fit to stay and marry your mother, or even like uproot and take them back to the States. It was probably that, and also like not being accepted in his mother's homeland as well, seeing that he was half American. It's kind of like where it's like you get from both worlds. If he was probably stateside, maybe he would have gotten that too, where it's like, oh, you're not full American, only your father is. Where like he was in Japan, where it's like, oh, you're not really one of us, your father's an American. And I kind of see that where that could be frustrating as a child, where you're not accepted.
He doesn't know where he belongs.
And then getting lost in the mix, and then trying to find and make your way in the world. world, and then coming across a figure like Big Boss, where his motto is that it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, whether you're a man or a woman, as long as you have allegiance to me and to my military, you'll have a place in this world. And probably feeling that acceptance probably brought the best out of him in training the soldiers, getting Big Boss's military up and running, even by means of like turning into mercenary work, and then seeing all like their progress and all everything they worked so hard get destroyed by Skullface. And we know why, because for Big Boss, he was just another enemy in the way to clear the table, basically. For Skullface to probably enact his big plan, he needed to get all the players off the table so they won't even come close to stopping when he was going to do what he was going to do in Phantom Pain. For if you played Peace Walker before, you would say to yourself like, oh fuck, all those hours, all that hard work. You would probably feel the same anger as well that Kaz felt, because as soon as Big Boss comes by with his helicopter and seeing like their base being attacked and like trying to basically have cover fire to get as many people on board to get out, you could see like the rage in Kaz's like body language and even in his voice, and it gets to the point where he's gonna attack even Paz, who's still recovering from like on the field surgery.
Yes.
Because they removed a bomb.
Yes.
From her stomach.
Yeah.
For seeing like all the suture work.
And
so doesn't care about that. He sees her like she's the reason why all this happened.
Yes.
Technically true, yes, but it's a slippery slope. Even Kaz had a hand in play by getting in league with Cypher, using some of that money. There's that you're also having your own deals with the devil as well. And it just so happens that it costs you everything. We see Big Boss and then his rage for what's happening to Mother Base, rage for what he witnessed over at I want to say Omega Camp. Rage for what happened to Paz and Chico, and you kind of see it when he's providing fire and actually attempting to continue the firefight before they like take off.
Yeah.
He's actually still continuing a firefight. At first it was cover, get them in on the helicopter, then it became I want to kill as many people as possible.
Yeah, they're as crazy as as crazy as scene plays out, because it's interesting. There's like the complete destruction of Kaz's and plan and the Mother Base. Crazy as it is like visually it is beautiful. Just like the fire and everything, and of course it's a good action sequence, and yes, we see Big Boss defending his fellow soldiers and just trying to keep whatever's left of what him and Kaz built. As crazy as the scene is, it's just funny how it's visually it's very stunning as well.
There's going to be a lot more going over like the music and how it correlates with the stories. That one more, I feel like more. Phantom Pain uses the music very heavy to drive and guide you how the story, where it's going.
Yeah, sure.
So we're going to take it from there, and I'm going to do is we'll leave a little teaser. Will be for the next episode. Until then, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode with the bros returning once more.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jonathan, for coming.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you then, folks.